Hello. Today we're going to be talking about parallel and perpendicular lines. We're going to be determining whether lines are parallel or if they're perpendicular or neither. To do that, we're going to start by reviewing what is slope. Now, there are four basic types of slope. We have positive slope that goes up as we go from left to right. We have negative slope, which goes down as we move from left to right. We have zero slope, which is simply a horizontal line. And then we have undefined slope, which is a vertical line. And so when you see a picture of slope, you should be able to very quickly determine, is it positive, negative, zero, or undefined. Now often we are not given a clear picture on our slope. Instead we're given points. And so I'm going to work through a couple of these examples using the slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. If we label these as x1, y1, x2, y2. That lets us know what we need to do. So y2 minus y1 means I have 7 minus 3. And x2 minus x1 means I've got negative 4 minus negative 4. So if I do this math, 7 minus 3 is 4. 4 minus negative 4, that really means plus, comes out to be 0. Now, since I cannot divide by 0, since I can't divide by 0, we're going to call this undefined. If I look at this one over here, y2 minus y1, 1 minus 1, x2 minus x1, I get 0 over negative 5, which just equals a slope of 0. Now if you get a fraction that can be simplified, always make sure that you do. But if you're given a graph, you don't really have to use the formula. Instead, you can just use rise over run, assuming that your graph is counting by the same in x as it does in y. So over here I'm going to count my rise over my run. So I realize the line's pretty close, so I'm going to count and then I will mark it on here. But I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I rose 8. And my run, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And so I'm running 11. So my change in y would be 8. My change in x would be 11. And because I know 8 over 11 doesn't simplify, I'm just going to leave it as that. So that's just a reminder on how to find slope. Let's talk about parallel lines. Well, parallel lines have the same slope. So I'm just going to look at this. I'm going to make sure that my lines do in fact have the same slope. We're going to look at AB and CD. So AB means we'll look at these 2 points. 9 minus 6 over negative 6 minus negative 7. Well, 9 minus 6 is 3. Negative 6 minus a negative 7 is really negative 6 plus 7, which is 1. And so this slope would be 3. And again, this was for A, B. Now let's take a look at CD. So again, I want to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So negative 6 minus 3 over 3 minus 6, which is going to give me negative 9 over negative 3, which does in fact simplify to positive 3. We notice that these are the same, and so we know that these are in fact parallel. If they were anything different, if when I simplified the fractions I got anything here that was not the same here, then they would not be parallel. They've got to be exactly the same. Let's see what that looks like on a graph. So I'm actually going to go ahead and do example number 4. Again, I want AB, so I'm going to use this as a straight edge. Draw AB. And then I want CD. So again, I'm going to take this as a straight edge. I'm going to mark CD. And well, they certainly look parallel, but maybe my lines weren't very accurate, so I want to calculate my slopes anyway. I'm going to do AB first. And so if I start here and I go to there, I'm going to go ahead and count my up and my over, my rise and my run. Well, my rise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm rising 6. And now I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, 6 over 10 as a fraction is 3/5. So that was AB. Let's go ahead and check out what CD would be. 1, 2, 3. So I rose 3. I'm going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which of course also equals 3/5. And again, because these are the same, they are in fact parallel. So that was parallel lines. We're just looking for the same slopes. And now perpendicular lines. Again, we're still looking at our slopes. So for AB, I have 5 minus 4 over 4 minus 2. Well, that's real simple. It's just 1 over 2. And for CD, I have negative 7 minus 1 over 8 minus 4. Well, this gives me negative 8 over 4, which simplifies to negative 2 over 1. Now, if you'll notice, if I look at the fractions, what was on top moved to the bottom, what was on bottom moved to the top, and the signs changed. This one was positive. I didn't have it wrote down earlier because you don't need to write that for positive, whereas this one is most definitely negative. So when I say opposite reciprocal, the opposite is for the sign change, and the reciprocal means that I flip my fraction upside down. So yes, when I look at these, I do in fact see that they are perpendicular. Let's see what this looks like on a graph. So again, I want to use my straight edge. I'm going to connect AB. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to connect CD. And well, they definitely look like they meet at a right angle. But I want to count my slopes just to make sure, because maybe they're just very close to a right angle, or maybe my line is not quite accurately drawn. So again, I need to find my slopes for AB. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for CD, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over 2, and the line is going down, which means that it's negative. So that means that this simplifies to negative 4. So I've got 1/4, negative 4, which I can write as negative 4 over 1. Notice I went from positive to negative. I could have gone from negative to positive, doesn't matter. I went from 1/4 to 4 over 1. My fraction flipped, which means that these are in fact perpendicular. Now there are some shortcuts because I realize that these are long words. So some shortcuts that you can use. On parallel, we generally draw two vertical lines side by side that look parallel. That tells us that we're talking about parallel lines, and so that's the shortcut. And for perpendicular, we do an upside down capital T. These make a right angle, and so we don't need to mark the right angle. We just go ahead and leave it as an upside down capital T, and that is the shorthand for writing perpendicular. So hopefully by now you are refreshed in determining whether lines are parallel and perpendicular based on their slopes. Have a great day.